Welcome back to the Mountain League channel. Good to see you again today, guys. Much love to you all. Extra post here today, but we're going to look at the insane origins of World War II, how any of this even happened. I'm going to propose that wars are nothing more than narratives for the masses. The truth of what's going on is kept from them, and it's purging of the nations. It's purging of the nations, and they're going to call it war. And the people that are doing it are all on the same side. We're going to start here at the beginning of the story, guys, and the insane narrative for Germany's recovery from this hyperinflation and Germany's rise to power after the First World War. We're going to start with the Treaty of Versailles. That is the entire problem in the first place that caused all of this hyperinflation and Wall Street crashing in 1929. But the hyperinflation, you could have a suitcase full of money, like 100,000 marks, nothing. It was worth nothing. You couldn't even buy food with it. So I don't know how they possibly managed. Must have been starving millions. But anyway. So war reparations from the Treaty of Versailles were insane. They decided to punish Germany by making them poor forever. Basically, they demanded that they would have 100,000 tons of gold paid from Germany. This is 6.6 billion old money, 264 billion in today's money. And Germany took till October the 2nd, 2010 to pay off their reparations from the World War One guys. World War One, the Rothschilds wars. And they're still ongoing with paying reparations for World War II. But not until my birthday, actually, October the 2nd, 2010, did they manage to pay off the insane war reparations that crippled the country. Now, that was really unfair, and their response was obviously a revolutionary atmosphere and the rise of National Socialism. Now, the rise of Hitler himself to power by 1933, such a short recovery, period. According to AI, they say in one narrative that he steals gold from Sudetenland and Austria, and they put that in the coffers, and this helps with the war effort. But it's basically the turnaround makes no sense to me, not for 4 or 5 years, and I'll tell you why. We've got a bus station here in Cardiff in Wales, and it's just took them 5 years to complete. And the Germans have been building this motorway and tunnel for the last 5 years. In Germany, they can't seem to get that one little bloody road together. But in the old days, you can have all of this stuff that I'm going to show you now. It's a miracle, an economic miracle, they called it. And there's a guy with an Arab name, which is an economist for Adolf Hitler, Hajma Schmidt. Now, I've looked him up. He basically ended up in a concentration camp, but later on he did survive the war. But he basically turned it all around with this new plan. Now, I'm going to put it out there now, hoping a member of the British government is listening. So they implemented an entire infrastructure, including highways, absolutely fantastic infrastructure, by the way, the best in the world at the time, and an armed forces of 18.2 million. That's combined Air Force, ground forces, and Navy. 18.2 million in the Wehrmacht, 1937. So a massive army, and they've all got loads and loads of stuff that is forbidden to be built by the Geneva Convention. So they got all of the tanks, the best battleships, the best aircraft, the best uniforms, the best bunkers, the best HQs, the best expeditions, campaigns all over the place. And they're organizing a war. And apparently they were organizing the Russian war as early as 1937. For Barbarossa. So that was in the planning, as well as all of the other plans for war, and all of this in 4 to 5 years. 4 to 5 years. Okay. Well, either we're living in a parallel dimension, all of this happened in another world or another time, because I just can't get my head around it. Okay. So yeah, so apparently the official narrative is he implements aggressive government spending on public works into basically the military, and that gives shit tons of people. But I'm guessing if there's 18 million troops, you got to have all of the people to train them 18 million troops and all the equipment for 18 million troops. Anyway, the autobahn on the highway is attributed to the Nazis, but it actually was started by the Weimar Republic, which started all of the infrastructure that Hitler took over in 1933 and made so much success of. But it was getting stuff going and recovering just before Hitler came to power anyway. Germany was, after the Great Depression. So the currency's back up, and they're back up and running, and now they're stinking rich, and they got the best gear in the world all in 5 years, 4 years. So British government, can you do the same? Can you, like, all of the whole of Britain is boarded up at the moment? Any chance you could just, like, you know, sort of fix it for us? Give us all cool stuff. So yeah, they got the best tanks. So you can play Panzer Commander and the Milkmaid. And then you got the biggest cannons. Okay. Whopping great cannons. They got tanks, they got trucks, they got best battleships. They got the Tirpitz, although that didn't really see any action because we blew that up in Norway. And then there was the Shire Horse and the Grafsbury, but they got sort of scuttled, so to speak, in the Battle of Montevideo early on in the war. So they never really seen any action, the great battleships of the German forces, but they're the best and the biggest battleships and the best tanks. They had the Panzer and the Tiger tanks that nobody else, until the Russians came along with their T-20s. They didn't have any good tanks. The Americans came along then with Shermans, and up until that point, this was the dominating tank. They had all of the best uniforms designed by Hugo Boss. They had best engineers. They could just go anywhere with their Blitzkrieg. And here's a tank that was found a couple of years ago in a swamp in Ukraine, I think it was. But it's a German tank, but it's turned to stone already. It's already fossilized. So how long exactly ago was this war? I know my mother lived through it, but what? Is it an edit? Is this just an AI-generated reality where they're just putting stuff in to fill the gaps that make no sense? Yeah, it turned to stone already. The German tank turned to stone already. So the best planes, they had Messerschmitts, Stukas, they had the best planes, actually. Junkers, Messerschmitts, Focke-Wulfs. I actually got away with saying that in the class. And they would say, Sir Martin said Focke-Wulf. And he's like, that's right, Focke-Wulf is a German plane. I was like, yes. I got away with the Hinkels, Messerschmitts, and Stukas as well. Dive bombers should be on there. But yeah, man, they had the best planes. And the Americans and the British are getting some Wellington bombers and Lancasters together in huge places as well, as a response to the Germans invading Poland. Now, let's have a think about that in a minute. Now, they set up, after the invasion of Poland, Britain declares war on Germany for invading Poland. But the Russians invaded eastern Poland, but we don't declare war on the Russians. Okay. Anyway, they get Fortish Europe, they take over most of Europe, and they put these walls all the way around. And they did all of that as well in a few years. They're just unbelievably miraculous. That's weird, secret programs, shall we say, the rocket program with the V2 from Peenemont that would land on London, secret weapons programs, all of this stuff happening. There's a young Werner von Braun, as you can see, in Peenemont. Not dressed as a Nazi, though. And technological innovations in radar and other technologies, they were the best in the world. And this is probably why America nicked all their scientists and took them to America for Operation Paperclip. The Germans had Skype, television, everything in the 1920s and 30s prior to the rest of the world. They were technologically advanced. You can see your switchboards, telephone exchange. So how? Were they so technologically advanced compared to the rest of the world? When they went from complete austerity, like you can't even buy a loaf of bread for 100,000 Deutschmarks, to all of this shit in 5 years. Just let that sink in. Yeah. And then there's the good old balloons. We love the Tartarian balloons. You can see here, you've got the Zeppelins, the graphs. Well, I said the graphs reads of ship, isn't it? The Zeppelin. Coming over New York, and they got no problem in America whatsoever in 1936 with swastikas at all. It's just that funny little man over the water. We don't have to worry about him yet, surely. Or is that the story? So yeah, World War II kicks off, but there's nothing going on because there's a phony war for the first year, and everyone's demanding, like, where's this war? And they're like, it's in the North Atlantic, while the Americans are bringing all of these tanks and guns over to arm Russia for the coming war, because this is all a theatre of war. And it's all planned, the invasion of Russia, and they're going to have stuff to fight back with as well. Don't worry, we're sorting it all out, both sides. Well, tens of millions get killed. Yeah. Yes, tens of millions will get killed, and all of the stuff's going to get ruined, but it doesn't matter because we got the contract to build it all back. What about the boss? Well, the boss, oh, he's just going to dive off later. As soon as he gets his gas bill, he's off. But here he is, Adolfsky. He's not very popular in history, this customer, is he? They say he was terribly evil and stuff like that. I don't know. I just don't get that. I guess like a warmer feeling. I think he's very friendly looking. He's always smiling and stuff. You don't get that with modern day politicians. Well, maybe Trumpsky, who's based himself on Adolf, does his speeches, for fuck's sake. So there's that. So yeah, he had a lot of subscribers and a lot of popularity, this little actor. And he was the face. Now you can say, yeah, well, he was funded by the Rothschilds for World War II. Well, that's neither here nor there for this narrative. The narrative is the unbelievable miracle economic rise of Germany out of the dust of World War I to this. Anybody? Because it's trippy when you think about it, guys. It's just too rapid. No, these got a few quid. Maybe they helped a little bit. They got the SS out after World War II, got them off to South America, so they didn't get in any trouble. So, yeah. So we're well on the way again, aren't we? We're ignoring the signs. We're in a totalitarian society at the moment in Britain, and other places are going more extreme. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, all bonkers. Their governments are going bonkers. Like, they all got the same boss, and I wonder who them boss is here. I got a Chinook going over my head. Waka, 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 waka. Can you hear that? A low Chinook over my head. So you can't make it up. It's just like the 1984 movie when he's got the helicopter outside of the window. They know I'm recording. So yeah, we're well on. We ignored the signs. They ignored the signs in the 30s, and then these brutes came marching across Europe, taking over, just making everyone their bitches, because they got it in their heads that they're better than everyone else, ego, and that they're the master race, and everyone else has got to do as they're told. That was actually pseudoscience, and they based it on basically a made-up narrative. They even went off to find the origins of the Aryan race. Whether they did or not doesn't matter. It was all a cult that everyone got in out of, the austerity. Oh my God, that was shit after World War I. Everybody's fucking dead. And what are we going to do now? And everyone's hungry, and you can't take your currency to the shop and buy anything, so you're just starving. So when this lot turned up, then, Hitler and all of the glory days, it was a golden era. It was like, oh my shit, we don't even care if it's a cult, I'm joining. And everyone was in on it, guys. Everyone was getting in on it in Britain too. And believe it or not, America was going the same way. Don't believe me? Oh yeah. They were subscribing to Adolf Hitler. Here he is giving spuds to Mussolini. He comes to a sad end, didn't he? Yeah, and everyone got to see his wife's knickers while she's hanging upside down on the gallows. It's a bit undignified, but there you go. And the search of the Aryan origins, where Himmler, had sent this expedition off to Tibet to find some lamas and asked them about the origins of the Aryans and the magical beings that they thought they were But they went from all of that epicness, okay, to death in no time at all. The whole of the Germany, it was just craziness. So the start of the war is a misnomer. There's no war going on. Everyone's like, where's the war? What war? The phony war, they called it. A period of inactivity in World War II that lasted from September, when it kicks off, to May. And it doesn't even kick off in May, it kicks off in April, when they basically action starts in Norway. Nothing before then. So it's like, it's just like, where's this war? It's in the Atlantic, where they're just bringing in arms to get ready for the bigger war. Twilight War, a term used by Winston Churchill to describe the phony war, the armchair war, the bore war, because it's so boring. That was the start of World War II. Well, things did liven up a bit, as you know. And then it all got ugly, tens of millions got killed, and then it all ends on a second front, which is sure D-Day. Unfortunately, the most important landing in human history to take over Europe again, the footage for it got actually destroyed in development. So there's only a few photographs out there. And it's not exactly Saving Private Ryan. He's, head's blown off and arms. But any film with Tom Hanks in it, you can guarantee it's a psyop. So there's that. So it's a theatre of war. We get the images, we get the narratives. I'm sure there's terrible horrors. War is hell. There's no doubt about it. And loads of people get killed, like stacks. But they can literally declare war on the smelly people in the countryside and purge them all, and other people as well, because that's what's going on. It's a reset and restructure of society, which is what they're doing at the moment. And people get moved about as well. Okay, people get other houses, and all of this stuff is exactly what's happened before, and it's happening now. It's repeating. So here's a German 88 gunner, and he takes down planes, tanks, and UFOs. I thought they were German, Foo Fighters. Well, obviously not, because they're taking them down too, if that's real. So the SS, they thought that they were superior, didn't they? They thought that when they eventually took over Russia for Lebensraum and extra living space for the German peoples to go and procreate in, and these were going to get Russia, and they're going to have their own land that was promised to them. So you got to go and get it first, and it gets cold there. I didn't tell you about that. And they got loads of stuff now because the Americans been arming them. So there's that as well. So here is an American troop. As you can see in the past, he's doing a selfie on his mobile phone, and he's just texting the wife saying, yeah, it's all right. I love this time traveling. Like, I'll come back to World War II again. Next time I'm back, go back to the Great War, though. What do you think, Petal? Text, love, Kutch. And then he's back home. So, yeah, on mobile phone. Adolfsky. What's to be said about Adolfsky, hey guys? So he didn't apparently like alcohol, and he was a vegan as well. He was a vegetarian, I think. And he loved animals, and he was holistic and all of that. But it all went bananas after, didn't it, with their cult? But I blame Himmler for most of that, actually. And all the suckhole generals that would just do anything to get in on this gig, because that's all it was a gig at the end of the day. So what's the gig? We're taking over the world. What? Yeah, man, we're going to have shit tons of booty, Konami, and everything else. What are you saying? Yeah, I mean, where do I sign? But it all went to shit. So here's the Americans. They're going to come into Sword Beach or Omaha. You can see all of the splattered humans. They're going to get France back. Now, I can put it to you that this is the same narrative for the American Civil War as well, that this is faked. Really what's going on is what's going on in World War II. It's just a war of exterminations on certain peoples and a war of aggression and taking over of lands, etc. And in this case, it was to unify different countries to make them all one big country that is now regarded as the United States of America. I wonder if they do that with Europe. I wonder if they'll get like Mexico, America, and Canada together. And then they'll have the Emira. Do you think? The Russians. Well, my father fought these in the Battle of Fire and Ice in Finland for 3 years in World War II. But my grandfather, he was on the other side. His most frightening experience, he said, was he was sentry duty in a cemetery in Italy, which was jolly scary, he said. But apart from that, it's not too bad. All right, war's not that bad. It's okay as it goes. There's plenty of food, 3 meals a day. It's not bad wages, actually. Does anyone shoot at you? Nah, not really. There's disembarkation at D-Day. We can get 1 million men that have all been waiting over in England for the last year or so, training. Because Germany, they don't do that. They just need a couple of years to build everything and go and invade France and Poland and take them all over and win their blitzkriegs everywhere they go until El Alamein, Tobruk, the British. That's their first defeat in the war, Germany. So how did it go from epic Germany to nothing at all, to completely destroy Germany? Absolutely fucking horrendously destroyed Germany. So I think it's Philip Caputo, the photographer, that took the photographs of these, but his assistant fucking murdered the rest of the film. So I can imagine it being scary, landmines, and I think maybe he's dead. Maybe. But it's not Saving Private Ryan, heads coming off and a guy holding his arm and stuff, is it? I'm just saying. I don't want to, undermine people who were on the D-Day beaches. I'm sure it sucked war as hell, but I think they overdid it with the old Saving Private Ryan. So here's Katyushas, then bloody Russians firing rockets at the people in Berlin. And the landings that happened. My grandfather was in many landings. He was in many invasions of Sicily, North Africa. He was at Anzio, and he was involved in D-Day as well, and had medals for all of that. And it's one of the subscribers right there. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, many subs. So where did it all end? Well, Dresden is a really good example of where it all ended. The move by Bomber Command, Britain and America, to destroy a city with no military interest whatsoever, and also it was known as a safe haven for German civilians after they left Hamburg and all the Rouen and all of the other places that were dust. So they were assured that it would be safe for them to come to this beautiful Renaissance city, or this beautiful architectural city, and destroy it. First, the Americans come over in the day. I noticed they got the electric trams going still, and the RAF by night, and drop in just shit tons of bombs apparently, but I'm not there. There's lots of craters here you can see, and completely destroyed beautiful Dresden. Problem is with that, guys, is it's just jam-packed full of people. It had something like 4 or 5 times the population that the city usually has. Like I said, it was being used as a safe haven. So it's more than just destroying beautiful architecture. It was just an intense war crime. But, they never, they didn't be made to account for it. This building survived in them. They brought it back to life in the modern day. Beautiful building. I think out of all the countries, obviously Russia suffered a lot, but the German people, like they didn't suffer enough under the Treaty of Versailles to have to go through this again. Only 25 years later, or 30 years later, just absolutely horrendous. Look at this. So war, what is it good for? Well, it's good for business. It's good. It's jobs for the boys, because guess who's got the contract for building it back? Mercalpoint. And he employs 10,000 people, and they're all coming over like Alvida St. Pet Airchuck to rebuild all of Berlin and all of Hamburg, Dresden. Look, there's a little star footage by there. So yeah, they detach themselves, these pilots, from dropping bombs on civilians. I think they just don't think they're actually splattering human beings and melting them. I don't know what they're thinking, but the consequences karmically are just unbelievable. So I don't think any British city resembled what we did to Germany. There was London Blitz, but that was mainly in the East End, as you know, near the docks, and Coventry, Swansea, other cities. Cardiff got bombed a little, but it was only the odd house and the odd street, guys. No British city, except for maybe the centre of Coventry and one or two others. None really look like this. None in Britain look like this. None. Yeah, all of Germany. So they got the whole world had to gang up on them really to take down that war machine. 18.2 million troops, active servicemen, compared to 63,000 in the modern day. Wow, that's what they had in Germany. So the whole world had to gang up and take them down, and then rebuild it all back again. But the German people were like enslaved. They had the Russians bossing them around. Can you imagine that, though? Somebody comes and completely destroys your country, yeah, because you got involved in a weird cult you didn't understand. And then they just comes and tells you what to do and stuff and bossing you around. Yeah, it's a bit like Britain in the modern day, isn't it? When you think about it. Well, they got the electric trams. So yeah, Britain well on the way to what happened with Nazi Germany. It's the same mentality. And they really it's like they really just don't like people. It's really weird. It's like they despise us. But look at poor old Dresden. So yeah, it's terrible pictures out there of the bodies, the humanity that were in this city, and obviously it was just a architectural delight, which was the crime as well. Getting rid of Tartarian architecture. Look, see all of the steel inside. It's old Antiquitech. And then the contract for rebuilding it back, but build back better. And they got tenement blocks and that built by British people. Now send the Irish over. They built the last will, get them to build the next one as well. They don't mind. It's jobs for the boys. It's good for business, guys. And the industrial complex, they earn a shit ton of money. What about beautiful old Dresden then? Well, we just have to keep it in photographs and in our hearts. Gone. Fields for sheep after the war. What is it good for? Well, it's good for purging peoples. And then in the name of theatre of war and two different sides when really they're on the same side. See, me, if I was a military commander, I could almost guarantee maximum casualties both sides, because this is how it's supposed to be played, guys. Yeah, this is how you get brownie points back at the working men's club. Yeah, when you're getting a big fat cigar in your glass of brandy, congratulating one another on how the war is going. Oh my God, I've earned $15 billion on this war. It's absolutely fabulous. Yes. Do you think it's a shame that people actually die? Yes, but war is hell, and we're going to build all of these tower blocks, and I've got the contract. It's worth quite a bit of money. Tart up a few old churches as well while we go. Whole of Germany built back like that. And you're a lot of Europe, France too. So yeah, nice picture, mate. Heartwarming. So yeah, there you go. The German women had to go and like get all the rocks. It's their city after all. If you want it, right, you put it back. It's like, well, you blew the fuck up. You put it back. No, they got bossed around. The military handbook is boss around the natives. Offer them chocolate and tights for sex was in the military US handbook for post-war Germany. Absolutely disgusting that that was in there, but it was. Just dehumanization of German peoples, even carried out by Americans. But they were quite happy to have their shit as soon as they took over the country. It's like, oh, them scientists, get them over. Yeah, Operation Paperclip, them fuckers. Get them over, all of them. The Russians are after a few. Oh, all right, then we'll get the best ones, what they call nuclear scientists, whatever that is. Oh, yeah, they had a massive deuterium plant as well. The Germans were well into making heavy water for some reason we never got to the bottom of. They're trying to say they were using deuterium for nuclear bombs, atom bombs, the Germans. But Germany, they never gassed no one. Or Britain had gas masks waiting for the gas to come, and Hitler's like, well, no, fuck that. I got gassed in World War One. I went blind. It sucks. I won't be gassing anyone this war. Martin Luther. I'm before Martin Luther King on Google searches these days, guys. Oh, come on. Give me a break. I got a dream too. Ooh, I got a dream. So, yeah, it got splattered, unfortunately. That's the other Martin Luther, obviously, the religious maniac one. So, yeah, splattered in churches. And this was what it used to look like. Baroque and just beautiful. Just the best of architecture in that place. And then all the people, excuse me, that's a really bad image, but, you know, war is hell. But build back better. Brilliant for business, guys. Sheep, get the sheep in, yeah? That's all right, because that's what they all are now. Oh, dear, dear, dear. They don't read the signs through history, do they? But if you just discount the official narrative like I am, yeah, because this makes no sense. The whole narrative of World War II makes no fucking sense from beginning to end. Britain was funded in World War II through higher taxes, sell assets, just what America's doing now, that'd be interesting, and aid from the United States of America and Canada. America gave us 31 billion. I don't know what that is in today's equivalent, but thanks very much. Thanks very much, America. We're going to buy ourselves some shit with that for the war now. So you're arming Russia and you're arming Britain as well and helping us out. Why is that? Because in 1937, in America, they were well on their way to being Nazis. I shit you not. They were. This is why they went a bit nutty on communism in the MacArthurist era. You know, they, excuse me, long-haired person, are you a communist? No. Are you homosexual? No. Are you a communist homosexual? No. Are you a hippie? No. Okay. So they did that. And with Hollywood stars, they got them all in, like Errol Flynn and stuff, saying that they subversive, working for them Ruskies. So, but everyone before all of that was quite happy to go with the Nazis. Britain was doing the same. We had Mosley, although he got interned in the war, but up until then, everyone was Zeke happily fucking away. Look at the Americans. These are little American people. And then they had summer camps, and it wasn't like Boy Scouts back in the 30s in America. It was like the Hitler Youth, if you like. And they've just kept their old ethos. Look at Trumsky. This is Trumsky, age 12, when he was in the Hitler Youth. So they had like a little Hitler guy, yeah, in the Nazis in America. Don't know his name, don't want to either. But yeah, when the Nazis came into town, there was big business, man. Everyone turned up, bought a Nazi T-shirt, yeah, did a bit of Zeke Island, felt something in their stomach and tickling in their belly, and they didn't know quite what it was. It's like, this is really wholesome, isn't it? Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's quite tasty. So before World War II in America, you had Adolf Hitler Street, guys. I don't know if that's still there in the modern day. I would doubt it. So there you are. American summer camp, Zeke Heil. But there's a lot of German people in like Pennsylvania and all sorts of places like that. So a lot of Germans in American government too. So here they are. The next generation of Americans soon to be fighting what once, a few years before, they thought was a jolly good idea, actually. Let's all get in on this. It's a good buzz, isn't it? Yeah, we can all do the same. Yeah, we can all do the same. We can salute together. Oh, we love nationalism. It's like we can all do the same thing and be the same and think the same. And do you like that? It's a comforting feeling, isn't it? Being the same as everyone else and nobody thinking differently. And if there is, we should tell. Yes, we should tell if anyone thinks differently from us. He doesn't look like he might think like us. He might be one of those communists. Not as bad as one another. I can't see a difference between National Socialism and communism myself. It's all bullshit. Fuck them all. Fuck them all. Royally. So yeah, they are a little bit of a Masonic handshake. See, isn't that funny how the Masons are totally in with the old narrative for Nazism. 1938. Zikal. They took him over to meet the boss. He's got a bit of a gut on him, mind, but there you are. It's all of them Venus schnitzels. And he's looking at it. Look at it. Look at it. He's looking straight at his gut. It's like, you're a bit of an eater, didn't you? See the salads? Because he didn't respect meat eaters, I don't think. So you are American high street, you know, Main Street. Yeah, everybody turns out the windows. Everyone's like, yeah, stick out, and the American flags and the Nazi flags all buzzing together in New York City. Did they tell you about that in school? Did they tell you about America invading Russia? Vladivostok, the Russian troops marching down Vladivostok in 1945. Did they tell you about that? They don't, do they? They don't tell you anything. What about the big Nazi rallies in America in Madison Square Gardens? They were quite popular. Let's have a look. Look at the size of them speakers in Madison Square Gardens. I wonder what they're playing. Valkyrie, probably. And there's a good British Nazi there. George Washington. And it looks very Freemasonic. It's a cross between Freemasonry and Nazism, isn't it? But it's just like Trump rally, really. And there's just a shit ton of people there. There's a whole stadium full of Nazi admirers, and then the war happened. So, and who's funding who, I wonder? Seems very American too, doesn't it? They just changed the logos in the modern day. Have you seen the police? They all got like SS German helmets on. Even the American Army got German helmets on. It's like they got all of the best stuff. These are anti-fascists. So we got an anti-fascist. There's the Hegelian dialectic, the anti-fascists and the fascists. But fascism's another business model, isn't it? So, bleh. America, well on the way to Nazism in the past. Even a bit of fisticuffs. Yeah? Get him! Kick him in! So is the way of Nazis. It's gangsters. Just different gangster gangs. That's the way I see it all. It's all it is. It's the same with the government as well. They're just like, there's hoodlums. Yeah. Even in a hotel, nice big smoky fucking swastika on the ceiling. Food for thought, guys. So let me recap before I buzz off. That went so quick. So how did Germany build so quickly all of that stuff before World War II? From 1933, they go all of them tanks, all of them battleships, all of that infrastructure, the aircraft, you name it, they got it. All the best HQs. It's just it doesn't seem organic growth either. There's something going on with that. It just makes no sense. And the organization and the statistics seem impossible to myself. It just seems an impossibility to myself. Unless they could pull this off in the modern day, that would be nice to witness. Indeed. Come on, British government, turn it around 5 years. And then they got 18.2 million troops, all like turned out fantastically, all in convention, opposing the Treaty of Versailles. Like, fuck you, we got a massive army. And then the whole world had to gang up and take them down so they could rebuild it all again. And then later, everybody's happy again, and they're all in the same gang. So, like they were in the beginning. Purging the nations, and let's call it a war. This has been Martin Leaker, Flat Earth British. Let me know what you think in chat. I'm sure in the comments, I'm sure you've got a lot to say. So I want to thank you for people who subscribe and like and share these videos. Okay. Much love. And I will see you on Friday.